There's a modern Sufi story that allows a very important question to be asked. The story about a man that we'll call Ishmael. Now, Ishmael was born into a life of poverty, but he had the great good fortune to have a mother who was considered to be a mystic. So at a very early age, he knew and respected the arcane laws, the mysterious laws of life. But through Ishmael's abilities, he became a mogul. He owned ships that plied the seven seas. He owned the shipyards in which they were built. He also owned the docks where the ships disgorged and took up their cargoes. He was respected amongst all levels of society. But one day, Ishmael was giving a reception for a number of very important government officials. But just as they were enjoying their aperitif, one of Ishmael's aides came out of a side room, and it was plain to see that he was in a state of great agitation. Now, the dinner table conversation was about the state of the world, how nothing was safe anymore. There were saboteurs who were causing great problems in all levels of society. There was great fear abounding. Now, it was noticed by one of the guests that Ishmael's aide was standing by, waiting for an opportunity to speak to his boss. So this was indicated to Ismael, and Ismael called over his assistant to him. Now, as his guest observed, as the assistant spoke to Ishmael, his demeanor, his manner, his facial expressions did not change as he listened. And what was imparted by the assistant was, "Master, we've just had the news that your ships have been bombed. Your docks have been destroyed. Your shipyards are on fire. It seems that your whole business is now up in flames." As Ishmael listened, it seemed that he had a faraway look in his eye. And then he turned to his assistant and said, "That is good." And his assistant went off. And Ishmael turned back to his guests, and they resumed their conversations as the entree arrived. But as the dinner proceeded and the dessert was being served, the assistant came out again, and it clearly was evident that he was now in a state of excitement. So Ishmael noticed this, and when there was an opportune moment, he called the assistant over to him. And the assistant related, "Master, it's all right. The bombs, the fires were not in your shipyards. They were in the shipyards and in the docks and on the ships of other owners. All of your empire is intact. Again, it seemed that Ishmael looked into the distance for a moment, and then he turned and looked at his assistant and said, "That is good." And the assistant went off him. Before he did, Ishmael said, I'll see you in the office in an hour or so." The dinner proceeded and came to its end, and Ishmael farewelled his guests with all courtesy. And then he came into the room where his assistant waited. And after general inquiries and the assistant passing on the information of what had transpired to bring about the knowledge of what was happening in these far distant places, the assistant said, excuse me, sir, but if it wouldn't embarrass you or if it's not too personal, would you mind answering a question for me?" Ishmael said, "There is nothing personal. Tell me, what is your question?" And the assistant said, "Well, so when I told you about the disasters that were happening, you said, that is good. And then when I told you that all was not as it was or had been relayed, you also said, that is good. What did you mean?" And Ishmael said, "When you came out with the news of the disasters that were occurring, I looked into my heart of hearts to see if my spiritual equilibrium was disturbed. And when I found that it was not, I said, that is good. And when you came to me to give me the news that it was not as had first been thought and relayed, I again looked into my heart of hearts to see whether my equilibrium was disturbed. And when I found that it was not, I said, that is good." The important question that arises out of this story is, where is this heart of hearts? Over these last weeks and months, the question's been asked of you. What is it that occurs when stillness and movement meet? And we know that it's an enactment of those arcane laws. We know movement. We know that the clouds move, the winds move, our mind moves, everything moves. Everything is always moving. But what is stillness? Where is it to be found in us? Can you look inside yourself and find it? Where is this heart of hearts? We know that it's there. It always has been there, or here maybe. And that's a clue. But let's make it an absolute question. Now, where is this heart of hearts to be found? We need to answer this question. Otherwise, we will always be bound to movement. Silence, stillness will forever be something that is just some mystical state. It's real. Where is it? Right. And where's the now?
Yes.
Right. Where is here? Oh, not a joke. At last. But we can look, and we can inquire, because we can say, what is the now, or the here now? Is it a place? Is it a state? What is it here and now for you?
Inseparable from the movement.
Yes? Yes.
Okay. Moriba.
So where do we go from here? I guess we'll find out in some